Folks, welcome back to the Defiant Weekly. I am flying solo this week, and honestly, the news is so wild, I don't need a guest. These stories are the guests. Trump just blew up the Iran ceasefire like a toddler flipping a game board because he wasn't winning. Mitch McConnell is in the hospital, and people are lining up to tell you what he's thinking, what he's saying, and what he wants, which is remarkable because really nobody can actually get to him. Weekend at Bernie's. A Senate candidate is getting forced out over serious misconduct allegations that should have disqualified him from Jump Street. And Trump's cognitive decline just hit a new gear this week while every single Republican in Washington, D.C. just stared at their shoes. It is a lot. So I hope you're ready to get into it because I am. Let's get defiant. Incredible person, incredible human being. Yes, famous. Yes. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Defiant Weekly. I'm your host, Majid Padelin, a.k.a. BDD, a.k.a. Brooklyn Dad Defiant. And we got a lot of shit. This is, it's first of all, there's so much stuff going on. I had to cut. I couldn't even decide what I was going to discuss today. But overall, the main story is Mitch McConnell, who I am no fan of. And before we get started here, let me just say really quick, hello to Mike Hext, who had a great question prior to us even launching the show. He asked, is alive as in speaking or alive as in existing with machines doing the work? That is an excellent question. We are 100% going to get into that. And I also want to say hi to Valerie G. I see Joanne Kennedy here, Mama AG, Tina Bradford, Pam Ham. Welcome, you guys. Let me just jump right on in. In addition to this, we're also going to discuss Graham Platner, which, I've talked about him on the show before. I like to think that I'm always right. That I was Nostradamus about this. I was kind of. You guys saw it. You witnessed me talking about this guy with Nick Knudsen, so you can make up your mind about that. We will revisit that little discussion there. And Donald Trump, if it's a day ending in Y, he is doing his best to prove to the world that he is unfit to lead America. And if this is your first time here, make sure you click the like and subscribe button. The like button, you know what it is. It's the thumbs up right there. And the subscribe, it's in your lower right-hand corner of your screen. Make sure you click that. And all of that stuff, it helps the algorithm. If you have an opinion about the show, if you like what I'm doing, if you don't like what I'm doing, let me know what you are thinking, and especially about the topic at hand. If you happen to have a comment that I think is worthy of the entire world seeing, look, I'm going to put Monique Lee's comment there because it's so sweet. Hi, BDD and Defiant family. Yes. So I'm going to throw up random comments from time to time. So make sure you keep it civil. Let's discuss things because, we're all in this boat together, whether we like it or not. And this is also a great question from Ven XM Riot. Why the hell has media not raised a story on him falling asleep yet? He does it so much. Thank you for saying that. It drives me insane because he doesn't just do it a lot. He does it every single day. And it's insane. When it was I don't think Joe Biden, honestly, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Joe Biden was at these NATO meetings or global or cabinet meetings or Oval Office meetings falling asleep in front of his guests and attendees. I don't recall seeing that at all. And believe me, they were watching Joe Biden with the fine-tooth comb. If he coughed, is like, oh, what is he? Got pneumonia? He's old. The media did not miss an opportunity to remind us how old Joe Biden was. But now, Donald Trump, he's blinking. He likes to blink slowly. That's what it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right on into this thing. Mitch McConnell, Mitch McConnell was found unconscious at his home. And this was a while ago. It didn't just happen, guys. It was like 3 weeks ago. Here, according to this here, McConnell has been hospitalized for 3 weeks, and aides won't say why. Senator Mitch McConnell was admitted to the hospital on June 14th, and his office has provided few updates about his condition. Here's what we know. So what else we know is that 3 days after Mitch McConnell was considered, unconscious and was admitted to the hospital, his wife, Elaine Chao, hops on a plane and goes to China. I'm sorry, if it was, and I don't even know, guys, let me know in the comments how long these two have been married, because I don't think this is a new marriage. I think they've been married for decades, right? And if my spouse of decades was clinging to life in a hospital bed, I'm not going across the Atlantic or the Pacific or wherever the hell to go to a meeting. She went to a meeting. She had a meeting with the vice president of China. Correct me if I'm wrong. Pretty sure it's, here we go. We got McConnell is 1 foot in the grave, 1 foot on a banana peel. That's an old one, but it's funny though. Here's a good one from Sharon Landry. Biden showed normal signs of age, and Trump shows signs of dementia. Thank you. Huge difference. Very big difference. And yeah. So anyway, she hops on a plane. Who does that? And I saw some stuff on Twitter that I'm not going to repeat. Well, I'm not going to show it, but I will repeat it. It was Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene actually believes that Elaine Chao is a Chinese spy. That's, in my opinion, it's not completely far-fetched, right? Because where is your heart, woman? Where is it? You just, his body will keep, it makes me think, because you guys know, I'm I haven't kept it a secret. I am secretly a closet conspiracy theorist. I love the conspiracy theories. So when she says Chinese spy, I'm like, Anyway, it is possible, but we have to go on what we know right now. And it says, during the trip, she met with a number of people, including the U.S. ambassador. The senator's health did not warrant an immediate return to the U.S. What? That's insane. So the governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear, sent Mitch McConnell, because now we're hearing since yesterday, we're hearing stories from Scott Jennings and other influencers. For some reason, influencers have access to him, and other U.S. senators, John Thune. All these people said they spoke with him for 20 minutes. It's hilarious. It's almost like they copied and pasted each other's comments. So Governor Beshear says, over the last several weeks, Kentuckians have grown increasingly concerned about the current state of your health and well-being and ability to hold office in the United States Senate. As governor, I request that you fully update Kentuckians regarding the current status of your health. Great. So June 14th, when he went in, July 8th is today. I think this was, July 8th is today. It's taken 3 weeks to get anybody to give a damn about Mitch McConnell. Look, I'll be the first one to admit I don't give a damn about Mitch McConnell, but, I'm just me. And there's probably a bunch of you guys out there who also don't give a damn about Mitch McConnell. But my point is, he is a United States senator. Somebody got to give a damn about him because he represents millions of people and he is AWOL for 3 weeks. What if he was, I know he wasn't kidnapped, but what if he was? Nobody was even talking about him for 3 weeks. What the shit? And there's a woman who has done some reporting, some like really dogged reporting. And I got to give props to her, even though I don't want to, but I will give her props in a minute. Here are some of the tweets. Here's from Scott Jennings. Scott Jennings tweeted, I spoke to my old friend. I can't stand Scott Jennings. There's like a matrix of people that I can't stand, and it's a circle right now. Scott Jennings says he spoke to his old friend Mitch McConnell this morning, the senior senator from Kentucky. He's still recovering in the hospital. We talked for just shy of 20 minutes about Iran, Ukraine, the unfolding situation in Maine, my visit to the Teddy Roosevelt Presidential Library, and even a little bit of Senate history. I told him we want to see him back at work as soon as possible. Okay, hold on. Mitch McConnell is 84 degrees. Oh, good point there, Joanne Kennedy. Yeah. What the hell is going on in Congress right now? Tom Keene was missing for months. He was missing for like 4 months with depression. Nobody could find him. That was bizarre as hell. I don't get it. If you want to disappear, run for Congress. Nobody will ask. Scott Jennings, Mitch McConnell's 84 degrees, 84 years old, not 84 degrees. If he was 84 degrees, then this would be an entirely different discussion. He's 84 years old, and he had a medical situation. There are people who have contacts. One of those is Marjorie Taylor Greene, of course. She's got her contacts. And the reporter that I mentioned a little while ago, she also has her contacts. And anyway, people are saying that Mitch McConnell is brain dead, that it's machines, as my friend Mike alluded to. He was our first, by the way, Mike was the first guy who showed up here. Mike asked, is he alive as in speaking or alive as in existing with machines doing the work? So people are saying that this man, who we have seen on the news, freeze up like years ago. Actually, he just froze in the middle of a press briefing. He was having a moment, and then he became wheelchair bound, and now he's found unconscious for 3 weeks. Nobody's seen or heard of this person. And only until this reporter started asking questions did people suddenly start speaking up. And also down below here, Nathaniel Reed, new via Majority Whip Senator John Barrasso, spokesperson Kate Noyes. Senator Barrasso and Senator McConnell had a lengthy discussion early this afternoon. Their phone call lasted roughly 20 minutes. Everybody is talking to him for 20 minutes. So then Thomas Massie, this is kind of funny. Thomas Massie, who would stand to replace McConnell if McConnell was determined to either be brain dead or unable to fulfill his duties, Thomas Massie stands a very high chance of being elected in a special election to fill that seat. Don't get me wrong, this is a Republican. Massie said he would vote for the Save America Act. So just keep in mind, yeah, we know he's on board with exposing the Epstein files, but he's also not your friend. If you're watching my show, you're not hate watching me, you know that Thomas Massie, even though he's with the good guys for the Epstein files, he is not your friend. he will disenfranchise your votes. So let's keep that straight. But for some reason, he is persona non grata with Trump. Trump does not like this guy at all. So he does not want him filling that Senate seat. So the Republicans are doing everything they can to prop up Mitch McConnell like Weekend at Bernie's. That was the plot of Weekend at Bernie's. So here's the reporter I was telling you about, Desiree Townsend. Now, I said that I didn't want to I didn't really feel like I wanted to give her props because I don't know. She feels MAGA adjacent. If you guys know anything about her, is she MAGA? Is she legitimately independent? Because her bio on Twitter says independent journalist. Or is she liberal? Is she liberal curious? I mean, what's the deal with her? If anybody knows about this person here, but in any case, the first few times I saw her, she was giving off this MAGA vibe. So, but with that said, she's doing some solid reporting here. And she says here, Senator Mitch McConnell has now been hospitalized for 3 weeks. The gravity of this situation cannot be overstated, especially given that his wife, Elaine Chao, appeared in China just days after his hospitalization to meet with high-ranking Chinese officials. The question now is about national security. If Senator McConnell has been unable to independently perform his duties, what safeguards exist to ensure classified intelligence briefings, defense appropriations information, and or other sensitive congressional matters could not be accessed, discussed, or shared by individuals operating behind the scenes? Given the timing of Chao's meeting with China's vice president, what exactly was discussed? And here's what I want to say about Desiree Townsend. Whatever your political leanings are, Desiree, good on you. Good work, because you scooped everybody, apparently. Like she was the only person making a stink about this. And if you look at her timeline, you'll see that, she's been posting about this nonstop. And I'm just puzzled. CNN didn't pick it up. MS Now didn't pick it up. I've started calling them MS Now. Big deal. None of the three major networks, CBS, NBC, ABC, none of them picked this up. That's weird to me. That's weird. I'm very disappointed in MS Now. Very disappointed in you guys. There's somebody missing and you didn't pick up on that. So anyway, it's a big deal because, as she said, this could be a national security issue. It's a United States senator who has access to sensitive materials. And who has access to those sensitive materials right now? It's not the senator. It's his aides. Who are his aides? Who are they accountable to? Which of his aides has a gambling problem? Which of his aides has, serious debt that could be easily paid off in exchange for information? And that's not far-fetched, guys. That shit has happened. So, wow, that's crazy. So let's go ahead and move it right along onto Graham Platner. Graham Platner. I didn't know this guy before, but he took Maine by storm. He's got a raspy voice. He's an oyster farmer. He's a populist, they say, is what people are telling me. He's a populist, which means he talks about things that the majority of people that appeal to the majority of people. They're popular. And he is progressive, right? He won the Democratic primary handily. It was easy peasy. In fact, he won so handily that the former governor, Janet Mills, she was also running. She had to drop out. She suspended her campaign because he was doing so well and she couldn't raise any money. Big deal. Now, I've had my misgivings about this dude from the time we first heard about him. Like, I couldn't get past the Nazi tattoos. I was stuck right there. This was even before I heard about his other alleged heinous actions, as were recently reported. I could not get past, but there's a whole laundry list of things that he is alleged to have done. And Mainers, they were like, yeah, okay, no politicians are perfect. I was like, but what? What? So it says here, SA allegation. An ex-girlfriend accused Platner of barging into her home uninvited while intoxicated in 2021 and assaulting her. Following this, national and Maine state Democrats urged him to drop out of the race. This is most recent. Prior to that, it was abusive behavior allegations. And prior to that, it was sexually explicit messaging and Nazi-linked tattoo and incendiary Reddit posts and campaign staff resignations. There's a whole list of things that have plagued his campaign since he jumped in. And I found I was stuck on the very first thing I heard about him. I couldn't even get past that. And then when I heard the other stuff, I was like, well, shit, Maine? What are you guys doing? What doesn't this other stuff matter to you? And then I remembered, right, that this is the America that elected a guy convicted of 34 felonies who was found liable for assault of E. Jean Carroll. You know, what can I say? I don't live in Maine. I have no sway over Mainers, or, I'm just like watching this aghast. I'm floored. I'm floored by this. And then the other day I saw this report, this interview of the most recent person who was assaulted by Graham Platner, allegedly assaulted by Graham Platner. I forget her name is Jennifer. I don't remember her last name, but she was very credible to me, very credible. And here's the thing that ticked me off, is that she had already given the information that she shared, had already given it to reporters and authorities a long time ago. And she was like, hey, look, I have also given you this other stuff. You should follow up on that too. They're like, nah, we're good. We're good. So they didn't even bother to follow up on any of the other details that she had given. So, which is part of the reason why the vetting process broke down on Graham Platner. But yeah, so I had my buddy Nick Knudsen on the show with me a few weeks ago, and we had some thoughts about him, and here they are. So last but not least, I do want to touch on this race here in Maine between Graham Platner and Susan Collins. This one has me a little bit concernicus. What are your thoughts about Graham Platner? You must have some.
Graham Platner has a ton of baggage, and he's earned it. From Nazi tattoos to things that he's said in the past online that are extremely disparaging to women and gay people and minorities. Doesn't sound like a Democrat to me, but but it is up to the people of Maine. Obviously, it would be ideal for Democrats to pick up that seat, and he is in the lead despite all of that stuff being very public. I worry that when it comes to the general election and Republicans are trying to throw all the money that they possibly can at the states that are going to firewall the Senate for them, because the Senate's super important for judicial nominations and confirmations, that they will throw the kitchen sink at this guy, and there's plenty of stuff to throw. So
Yeah.
it's concerning.
So 100% everything that you just said. What worries me about Graham Platner is that he, I don't feel like we can trust him. And in the back of my head, I've been burnt by John Fetterman. And like the warning, all the red flags are there with this guy, right?
There are some parallels for sure.
Yeah,
and not to mention Kirsten Sinema.
Yeah, but this guy even more so. It's like it's almost like he's subconsciously telling us, like, look, I got these tattoos, I got this sex scandal, I got all this stuff, online stuff. What more do I need to?
Right. I was telling someone
to show you I'm not fit for this job.
Right.
Yeah. So, we called it. We absolutely did call it. And as Nick said, he doesn't sound like a Democrat to me. All of those things, those are major red flags. And again, I was just like, well, damn, Maine, what are you guys thinking? But overall, it's not just that, right? It's that throughout the party, there have been states that are embracing different kinds of candidates. This is the thing to pay attention to, okay? These candidates, they are being referred to as progressive. Some are being referred to as democratic socialists. And it's caused some establishment Democrats to be worried. I noticed that Republicans were kind of worried about Graham Platner a month ago because they were harping on this Nazi tattoo thing. And I was like, wait a minute. When was the last time you ever heard of a Republican giving a damn about a Nazi tattoo? Anybody? Does anybody remember Republicans being all up in arms, clutching pearls over Nazis? How dare you? No, they don't give a shit unless you call them a Nazi. If you call them a Nazi, then they have a problem. But if you're bringing up somebody who has Nazi ties, they're like, whatever. What's that guy? Nick Fuentes had dinner with Donald Trump, and he's a self-described neo-Nazi. So I thought that there was so much going on in this situation. I thought it was fishy that that Republicans were looking to gang up on Graham Platner. Maybe they thought he had a legitimate shot at beating Susan Collins, who is that's a major win if we get Maine. So now it's a question mark. It's a huge question mark. And I want to bring this up here. Kevin McCarthy, this jackass, he had the audacity to say, excuse me, he says, the one thing I know about Republicans is that when we had a very bad candidate, we didn't vote for that person. We walked away. Really? Really, Kevin? You just walked away from that really bad candidate? Is that so? The one who says the one who bragged about assaulting women, saying that he can grab any woman by the private parts? That one? That same candidate who cheated on all of his wives? That guy? Who, in fact, even cheated on his present wife with a porn star and then had to pay her off. And then he just lost a court decision over that. I mean, on and on and on and on and on. Let's talk about January 6th. He incited an insurrection. And you, Kevin, know because you were angrily texting that day. So when were you walking away from anything, you phony piece of shit? Yeah, so I made this video. I've been doing, I don't know if you guys have noticed, I've been doing a lot of these front-facing videos, talking head videos or whatever. They are fun to do. It took me a while to kind of get into it. I enjoy doing them now. Yeah, so what do I think about Maine? I think you guys got to get your shit together. I think the Democratic Party has some culpability here. I think if somebody is running as a Democrat, then it's the Democratic Party's responsibility to vet that person. If you are going under our brand, we have to ensure that you represent our um, values, right? And if he turns out to be a scumbag, the way Graham Platner appears to be coming out, what are we doing? No. So yeah, there has to be some review of whatever vetting process has been going down, and you have to improve it. That's all I have to say, because now the outcome of the Senate race hangs in the balance. Oh, we had that. Okay. So now the Iran ceasefire is poof. It's over. And I was up late last night, this morning, whatever. I was up at 4:00 in the morning when Donald Trump had this press conference in which he declared that the ceasefire was over. And I'll just play that for you now.
Is the ceasefire done? Is the MOU dead?
It's a very interesting question. To me, I think it's over. I don't want to deal with anybody, but they're scum. You know what scum is? They're scum. They're sick people. They're led by sick people. And they're vicious, violent people. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they'd use it. As far as I'm concerned, it's over. And I'll speak to our negotiators. They want to negotiate. They're good people. Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner. But they have to come back to me. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a waste of time dealing with them. They're liars. We make a deal. And if I make a deal with him, we have a deal. And he goes out, he talks. We make a deal. Everyone's agreed. No nuclear weapon. We make a deal. They go outside, talk to the press. They say, we never even talked about it. There's something wrong with them. They're cuckoo. As far as I'm concerned, it's over.
Okay. Before I continue to move on with this Trump thing, Sharon Landry made a great comment here. It says, if Platner pulls out by the 13th, we can get a different person to run. That is a very real thing. If you guys have thoughts about who you think stands a decent shot at beating beating Susan Collins, should Graham Platner pull out of the race? And I say, should he? Because he has not yet. I find that peculiar. Like, what are you waiting for, dude? I mean, is there any way he can stay in this thing? I don't think so. I don't think so. You don't have the good graces of the party. I think you've been exposed as having some severe personal issues that have to be addressed on your own time, not on Maine's time, not on the country's time. So, what are you waiting for, man? You know, the clock is ticking. Get a move on. So, yeah. So Donald Trump he starts a war. He starts a war with Iran against. He does this of his own volition. You know, I guess Netanyahu dragged him into it. But you know, there's a reason that you have advisors and that you have a cabinet and all these people to get their opinions from. But you only asked the opinion of Netanyahu, and that was enough for you. And you dragged us into this war that jacked up all of the prices, not just the oil and the gas, but also the fertilizer. And when the fertilizer went up, like that throws everything into disarray because that affects farmers, and the farmers affect our food. So not just that, right? But that oil thing had a very, the oil being depleted had a very serious effect. And that is that the reserves, if you look at the reserves as being like a container, because that is what they are, they're these great big massive cylinders. And they have like a point at which when they get to a certain, when they get low enough, you're in trouble. And people's oil reserves all around the world were there. We're getting to that point. And that was the time, that was the week that Donald Trump pushed forward with this fake ceasefire. It's fake ceasefire. There was so many MAGA like, oh, why are you so bitter? Why can't you be happy that we've got a ceasefire? Because it's a fucking bullshit ceasefire. It's not real. The only thing that ceasefire was meant to do was to manipulate the goddamn markets. That's it. This whole process has been a market manipulation bullshit. And I wish we had, actually, we do have some people in the media who see this. But it needs to be a bigger point made. So, yeah, it was a fake thing. And the only reason that he declared that ceasefire, if you listen to what he said during that press briefing, he's like, I didn't want to be Herbert Hoover. He didn't want to bring on the Great Depression. And he said the Great Depression in that press briefing. That's how you know when he says certain things that he never, ever says before. That's how you know somebody got into his ear. Like, for instance, you know how he says repeatedly in every speech he gives or whatever, he talks about how America's hot. America's hot. It's hot. Somebody from Saudi Arabia told him that, and he never let it go. The same thing when somebody told him that he had 99% of the Republican Party, he turned that into he had 100% of support from everybody, and that's CNN. CNN said that. So yeah, Donald Trump is in the throes of dementia. Let's just say it. Let's just put it out there. It is what it is. That man is crazy. And we saw some shit today that was just batshit insane at NATO. He is embarrassing the hell out of our country in NATO. And I'm going to play this is one of those talking head things. I'm going to play this because it includes all of the embarrassing shit that he did just today.
Donald Trump is short-circuiting and having a disastrous, humiliating experience at NATO. Watch this.
You have a question for President Putin, please? Do you have a question for President Putin? Not Zelensky. The social democrats, it sounds so nice. It's not nice. It's a very dangerous term. So I do talk about it, and I talk about it on TikTok, and I talk about it everywhere. I talk about 100. I told the story yesterday. We had 111 missiles shot by the Islamic Republic of Japan. They were shot at the aircraft carrier.
But why aren't you flying the new plane home?
Say what?
Why aren't you flying on the new Air Force One home?
It's flying to Europe, to one of the big bases, 2 or 3 of the big bases, where we can show it to the people, and we'll be going home by normal methods. But we have it going to Europe.
Wait, what? Good Lord, where do I start? He keeps referring to President Zelensky as President Putin. He's calling Japan, or Iran, the Islamic Republic of Japan. He keeps calling TikTok, Tic Tac. The new Air Force One is flying to Europe for what? Nobody but a Trump cultist could look at this performance at NATO today and think that his marbles are not fully scrambled.
They saw a president that couldn't talk, he couldn't walk. He was a disaster.
His failing mental state is officially a national security concern. If he is not removed from office by the 25th Amendment, then nobody can ever be removed with it. If you agree that people surrounding Trump should all be investigated if they do not invoke the 25th Amendment, then give me a follow, because America deserves way better than this.
Wow, that brother looked handsome. Yeah, but every day is a different embarrassment. And here's the thing, folks. Not just our allies see this. If you think our adversaries aren't paying very close attention, they are. And they know how to appeal to him. He is the easiest person in the world to manipulate. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you for that. That's a great video. I worked very hard on those videos. There's a whole bunch of them on the, There's a whole bunch of them on the Really American Instagram account. If you're not following them, please make sure you do. Thank you for that. And Acrobat, I could not agree more with this sentiment here. Yeah. How can anyone be expected to take him seriously? It's not just the fact that he's calling TikTok tic-tac. You know? And it's not that, like, what, first of all, what's the deal with that plane, right? That plane, that $400 million plane that cost us taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars to upgrade and to retrofit or whatever. Now it's got to be taken to Europe to show to the people. What are you even talking about, bro? That's nonsense. What that is that there's some security issues that have to be looked at easily. That's what the problem is. And the other problem is that we have a Senate and a House full of Republican cowards who will not lift a finger to talk, to correct this guy, to talk to him, to convince him to resign. Honestly, the thing that he should do, if he truly loved America, would be to resign, because he's making a fool of himself, making a complete fool of himself, and he is destroying America's credibility and running up a major debt in the process. All he seems to be concerned about is ballroom, is arch, is gilded this and golden that, and statues and shit that doesn't matter to you and me. We are struggling because of his big, ugly bill has kicked a bunch of people off of healthcare, has caused mayhem. He had an opportunity to sign a bill, to do something positive for the American people, to sign a housing bill, a bipartisan housing bill. Both parties were in favor, loved this bill that was going to increase housing and lower housing costs. But what did he say? He said, I don't want to lower housing prices. I want to raise them. He has said so much crazy shit. Yeah, he called Japan the Islamic Republic of Japan. It's insane, bro. He said, I don't pay attention to the financial situations of Americans. He said, I love the inflation. At some point, you guys have to admit, you can only cover his ass but so much. You can only make but so many excuses for him. He's an 80-year-old dude who speaks English, supposedly, who says he has the best words. I still have yet to see those best words, but, you got to stop covering for him like he's a 5-year-old with delicate feelings. He's the leader of the free world. He commands a massive army and military force. Stop treating him like pick a lane. Either he's delicate like a fragile little flower and you can't hurt his feelings, or he's a fucking grown-ass man who's responsible for the lives of 350 million Americans. And if he's not up to the task, it is up to you to call him out on it, to put pressure for him to drop out. And if not that, I mean, I guess the one thing he did to protect himself was to surround himself with a bunch of punk-ass, illegitimate, lightweight clowns in his cabinet, none of whom would lift a finger against him. That was the main prerequisite. Like Kash Patel. Kash Patel is not in anybody's top 100 of, the person that you would want to see as the head of the FBI. Neither is Pete Hegseth, the head of the Pentagon. It's a joke. He couldn't even hack it on Fox News. So that's where we are. The ceasefire is off, and it's off because he got us into a war with no exit plan, with no strategy, with no nothing, just vibes. He thought we were going to overwhelm them. You're going to overwhelm them with, bombings. They dropped so many bombs where our bombs are depleted. So many bombs. He thought that was going to get her done. Not only did that not get it done, but he gave Iran a superpower. He gave them the Strait of Hormuz, which they already had. They just hadn't been using it the way that they are using it now. They're using it as leverage. And nobody in his administration thought to themselves, hey, you know what? We better consider that Strait of Hormuz because it's something. Nobody. How inept is your team that you can't even count on them to tell you the truth? Donald Trump is like, he's not even just a president. He's like the Make-A-Wish president, right? You guys know what the Make-A-Wish Foundation is? Like when they grant, a wish to a kid who's dying of cancer, who's, they're in their last year of life or whatever. So they make them a wish, they go to Disney or they get to meet their hero or whatever. Donald's Make-A-Wish is, I want reality to be whatever I say it is. And that's it. That's it. Whatever he says, if the reflecting pool turns green with algae, it's Democrats' fault. What? He just made up vandals, right? If somebody accidentally caught, a profile of his little Tic Tac peen, and determined that it was tiny, he said, the Democrats changed the lighting to make my penis look smaller than it is. Pathetic. It's really, this is the most embarrassing period that we're in. And I just hope that we're able to get out of it with our democracy still intact, without too many people hurt or killed. And this November is a first step to restoring order. And that is to get Democrats in charge of the House and the Senate. That should be our singular goal. Our singular focus is to flip the Congress, not just the House. Don't be satisfied with just the House. Let's get that Senate too. We can make it happen. So, folks, I appreciate you guys joining me here. It's been a long time since since I was able to do a solo show because I've had guests on, and often I have the guests, so I don't get to ask and answer questions from you guys. So if you have questions for me, I think I'm going to be able to end this 5 minutes early. So that's a great thing. I've been trying to get this under an hour for a very long time. So let's see. What questions do you guys have for me? What serious questions do you have for me? I see I see the troll questions, and I will say that while I don't appreciate the content, the things that you are saying, I actually do appreciate that you are, contributing to the algorithm, because every reply you hit me off with, that boosts my signal, boosts the signal strength. So if you can only come up with stupid insults or whatever, God bless you. God bless you, little boy. You little insecure jerk. Let's see. Is Epstein still alive? He is not. I'm sure of that. 100%. 100%. I would think that Biggie Smalls or Tupac would be alive before I would guess that. I am not. And I am focused on fixing that, Tina. Thank you for asking. Are you getting at least 6 to 8 hours of blink every night? No. Yeah, not even. It's averaging around 4. I need to fix that. Okay, so I don't see any other questions, but I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining me for another fun episode of the Defiant Weekly. I'm your host, Majid Badelin, a.k.a. BDD, a.k.a. Brooklyn Dad Defiant. And as always, I look forward to seeing you guys here next week. Same time, same place. I love you all. Peace. Incredible person, incredible human being. Yes, famous. Yes.